Hello then and welcome to News Desk on CCTV News. I'm Li Dongyi in Beijing. Brazilian senators have been debating whether to continue the process to permanently unseat suspended President Dilma Rousseff. Rousseff was suspended in May. She's been accused of fiddling with the budget to mask a slump in the economy. All the votes are expected to be cast during the early hours of Wednesday. Rousseff will be tried on fiscal charges if the Senate agrees by simple majority out of 81 senators. And her opponents are confident they have it. The impeachment process would then enter into its final phase, set to take place at the end of the month. And Russia says it is ready to restore diplomatic and economic ties with Turkey. The country's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan is visiting Vladimir Putin in St. Petersburg. Their trips comes after the Russian-Turkish relations come to a standstill last November when Turkey shot down a Russian jet at the border with Syria. Our correspondent Julia Lobova reports from St. Petersburg.
A new chapter in relations. That's the main reason for a meeting between Russian President Vladimir Putin and his Turkish counterpart Recep Tayyip Erdogan. The meeting in St. Petersburg is their first in person in 8 months.
Despite a very complicated internal political situation in Turkey, your visit today means that we all want a renewal of our dialogue and restoration of our relations in the interests of Russian and Turkish people.
The downing of a Russian fighter jet by Turkey was described by President Putin at the time as a stab in the back. 7 months later, President Erdogan expressed his regret to Vladimir Putin over the downing of the jet. After that, the two countries began the process of normalizing relations.
Both sides are determined to restore relations and even improve them further. Both sides have the will to do that.
As well as reviving diplomatic, economic and trade ties, the visit is seen by many analysts as having the potential to deepen cooperation on the Syrian conflict, where Russia and Turkey have many disagreements.
Very tough civil war in Syria, where I expect that the two leaders and our two countries, represented by our leaders, will actually compare their appropriate positions on Syrian crisis and probably could find a solution at last for a peaceful settlement of this very aggravated Syrian crisis.
This is Recep Tayyip Erdogan's first foreign visit since the attempted coup in Turkey last month. Vladimir Putin was one of the first to phone the Turkish president to show support, with Tayyip Erdogan thanking his counterpart for the call here in St. Petersburg. Western leaders condemned the attempted coup, but have criticized the way Ankara has acted since. As a result, Turkey's relations with the West have cooled. This meeting in St. Petersburg is for both Russia and Turkey to boost their ties. Julia Lobova, CCTV, St. Petersburg.
Well, Tuesday's meeting is the first between the two leaders following the thawing of tensions over Turkey's downing of a Russian jet late last year. Now, CCTV's Natalie Carney has more from Istanbul.
The attempt to unseat the Turkish president might just be the key to unlocking tensions between two old friends. Months of political punches and provocations over the downing of a Russian jet by the Turkish Air Force began to subside following an apology by the Turkish president in June.
A visit to Russia by the Turkish president would have been considered unimaginable only a month ago, but things can change very quickly, especially when you throw an attempted military coup in the mix.
It would appear Erdogan's apology to Putin couldn't have come at a better time.
Turkish leadership considers Russia as a significant partner, especially with the latest coup attempt on 15th of July. Putin was one of the first leaders to call Erdogan, and he declared unconditional support for the Turkish government, the democratically elected government of Turkey, against the coup. And this was very interesting, especially at the time when the responses from Turkey's traditional allies, the European Union and the United States, were much more muted.
The Turkish president has lashed out at the West for failing to offer that expected response, even suggesting the U.S. may have had something to do with the coup.
Does the West support terrorism or not? Does the